In this video, I'd like to talk about data screening, which is one of the most important steps in any data analysis. So it's not only about structured question modeling. Even if you want to run, let's say, t-test, ANOVA, regression, you need to first clean your data. So this part of the course can be applied in any statistical test. As long as you want to use data, first you need to make sure your data is clean. So by data screening means we prepare the data for modeling and statistical tests. For example, we check certain assumptions and we make sure that data is prepared for those tests. So data screening is the stage before model testing, before estimating parameters and hypothesis testing, which we call them data analysis. And as I said, this is very important. You cannot ignore, you cannot skip this stage. Sometimes we are in a rush. We want to just test a hypothesis to see whether we get any significant results or not. But you should be patient and spend time and here make sure your data is clean. Otherwise, the results may impact, the issues with your data may impact the results and reliability and validity of your findings. In other words, if you don't clean your data, it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? So I don't think you can use the results that may be totally different from the results that should come from the population for decision making. So be patient and do a good data screening. But by data screening in this course, I mean handling missing cases, addressing outliers and influential cases, and we check multivariate assumptions to for maximum likelihood. For example, we check multivariate normality. But later, I will also show you two tricks. I want to show you two tricks that you can initially, even before checking the missing data or other things, just to make sure that the data, if it has been collected, especially through survey, let's say face-to-face surveys, to make sure your data is good. So what I'm saying is it's not just limited to these three, first of all, and secondly, I will show you two short and effective methods that you need to do before even checking for missing data. Okay, what do we mean by missing data? Why? Yeah, of course we know what we mean by missing data, but what are the issues resulting from missing data? Number one is loss of information. Each piece of data has some information, and when you miss data, you miss cases, you are losing information, and you may not see the whole picture, right? And number two is power loss. Power loss means the statistical power. When you have less data, you have less cases, this means that the statistical power of your test will be less. And this means that if there is any significant relationship, you may not find it. And it's about bias. When you have systematic missing cases, this means that you have bias. So systematic bias due to a common cause makes problems, right? So we prefer random missing cases, but when you see a pattern in missing cases, these can be more problematic, right? So I give you an example. Sometimes, for example, suppose that you have a moderator. We will talk about moderator later, but suppose we want to compare two models between males and females, right? So in this case, if you have many missing cases on gender, for any reason, some of the respondents have not answered the question you asked them to indicate their gender. So although you may have collected data for all other variables, but because you are comparing these two models across male and female, you will face problem. You will miss all those cases, right? And it may impact your results. And another case, if for example, those who answer gender are more men for any reason, women didn't answer, many women didn't answer this question on gender. So it will be more male bias, right? So what happens? It impacts your results. or salary is one of the questions that some people, especially with high income, they prefer not to answer the question, or they sometimes even they don't give you the correct answer. So if the question is salary, if one of the items is salary and it plays an important role in your model, so this makes problems. So yeah, this is about bias. So missing cases, especially when it's systematic, it may bias your results. And another issue, missing data may not allow you to run the test for certain tests like EFA, CFA that we will use in this course. You need a minimum number of samples. So you need to have, actually for CFA, you need to, and later SEM, you need a large sample size. And missing many cases, if your sample size, for example, is not that big and you are missing many cases, then you may even not be able to run the test. And this is more important when you have a big model with so many constructs and variables and relationships. In a larger model, you need a larger sample size. And when your sample size is not that big and you have so many missing cases, you are losing the information, then it may impact this. I mean, even even in this case, you cannot even perform that. You cannot run CFA or EFA or SEM to test your model. Now, how to identify missing cases? I have inserted this slide in your notes. This is the steps you need to follow to test the missing case, to identify the missing cases. This is a SPSS software package. You click on Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and Frequencies. Then you get this table. You move those. Actually, I can show it to you now. So this is my data file, and in my data file, in the SPSS data file, there are two tabs, as you can see, data view and variable view. I assume you're familiar with the SPSS software package, but anyway, just for those who don't remember, it's a recap. So these are the name of the variables. So you see, I have so many variables here. I have 39 variables, and here in this data, so here you see variable names, their type. These parts are not really our concern, just the first column, variable names. And here you can see the variable names is the heading of each column and the value for each of the respondents, the respondents' responses. And each row is one respondent. For example, this is the first respondent, the second respondent. So the first respondent's answer to subjective norm 1 means question 1 measuring subjective norm is 3. I guess it's measured on a scale of 1 to 5. So the first respondent, let's say Ali, has given 3 to the second question, and he has given 2 to the third question, and so on. So this is the second respondent. Maybe she's Jennifer. Jennifer gave 1 to subjective norm 1 means question 1, and 2 to question 2. So each of these columns is an observed variable, is one of the items in your questionnaire, is one of the questions in your questionnaires. And each row is one of the cases, one of the samples, one of the respondents. In this case, I have collected data from 301 cases. How to identify missing cases? I go to Analyze, Descriptive, and then Frequencies. Remove this. It's okay if you keep it, just give you more report that we don't need really. Let's say we want to test the missing cases for subjective norms. How I selected all, I click on the first one, then press Shift button on your keyboard, and then click on the last one. So it will get all variables between these two selections. Then move them to the right box, and here it will give you, this statistics, descriptive statistics like minimum, maximum, and so on. But we don't need any of them. So what you need is you just move them there, remove the tick, and then hit OK. So I have one missing case for subjective norms 1, 2 missings for number 3, and 2 missings for number 5. You can do the same for all variables. Let's say I take all. So how I took all, just click on one of them, then press Ctrl and A on your keyboard. Together, Ctrl A means all. And then move all to the right. Make sure you have not selected this, otherwise you will get too many tables that we really don't need them. And here you can see some of the cases, like this one, image 2 and image 3. We have missing cases for these questions. We have one missing case for output quality 5 and so on. So anyway, this is the way we test the missing cases in SPSS. And yeah, you can refer to this slide later. But as long as the missing data is under 10%, is less than 10% for an individual case or observation, that's fine. But just make sure that this happens randomly. So if it's systematic missing cases, that is problematic. So in this case that you see, actually missing cases are not that much, right? So for each case, we have less than 10%. Actually, it's very small compared with the sample size that we have. Just 1, 2. I mean, the maximum for each column is just 2 cases. So that is fine. I mean, we don't have a big issue. And usually it's like this in most of the questions I collect is like this. But yeah, it may happen in some studies that you get a huge amount of missing cases. And the problem is worse when your dependent variable is missing. I mean, for example, if your dependent variable is sexual function, many people, especially in certain cultures, they are not comfortable to reveal the information about their sexual performance. So they may not answer this question, many of them. Then you will have many missing cases. And this is very problematic if this is your dependent variable. Why? Because dependent variable is the most important variable in our model. This is the variable that we want to explain, we want to predict, right? It's the main concern of our study. So, yep, hope it doesn't happen to you. But if the cases, as I said, they're less than 10%, the missing cases, so you just can use one of the methods that I want to share with you in this slide. And I just quickly review and then I tell you what I do. So it's like a secret that I want to share with you.